Hi fellow 90k acres and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to talk about the best starting weapons or item. But before we do that, can I get a like and subscribe? So what's the best starting items? Well, here's a list that I'd recommend for you. And it would look like this if I put it into tier list. But you won't probably see it, so I will break it down for you. So my first S tier item is the basics, which is the iron sword and helmet. My reason for this is, you can do Hell 2 difficulty with these items, even without a hero like Chendao or Lubu. But you need to get at least plus 12 damage or so in Iron Sword, and plus 100 HP or so in the helmet for it to work in Hell to difficulty. So putting that aside, the next S tier items are Iron Shield, Army Flag, Mace, and Bill Hook. So let me explain why these items are S tier in my opinion, starting with the Iron Shield. Iron Shield is S tier in my opinion because you can unlock this early in level 3 Institute and level 5 Smithy. Also, if you haven't noticed, the Iron Shield's effects doubles when your tank soldier's HP drops to 50%. And if you're lucky enough, you can get the max stats of 35% in your first recast. If not, then try getting at least 28% of the stats, at least the minimum. But it should be easy for you to get the 35% stats. Just try and recast it as much as you can. Next is the Armed Flag. This item drops when your soldier holding it dies. It will be placed on the ground with 2 tile radius, and when your army or allies step on that radius, it will have a 20% damage buff while on that tile, and enemies who's inside that radius will get a debuff of minus 20% damage. Apart from that, the Army Flag will be the priority target, meaning you can waste your enemy's turns by 2 to 4. It's really a handy-dandy item both for farming tile or in war. And if you are smart enough, you can really exploit this item to win almost all your games. How? Well, like I said, it wastes your enemy's turns. So think about it. There are 9 soldiers in one army versus your tank army with the Army Flag. But that's just an example. I won't go into full detail on how to use this item, but I'm sure you will figure it out soon. Oh, and if you're wondering, the Army Flag is one of my favorite items in this game. So the next S tier items in my opinions are the Mace and the Bilgook item. So the reason for this is, the Mace is a good item for farming tiles and also in war, and the same goes to Bill Hook. But if you noticed, the Bill Hook is available starting in level 3 Institute compared to the Mace, meaning you can unlock the Bill Hook starting at level 3 Institute, while the Mace, you need to reach level 6 Institute before you can unlock the item. By the way, in order for the Mace to be a good weapon, you need to get that 5% stats, otherwise it won't be that effective. As for the Bilgook item, which is, by the way, is one of my favorite items in the game, you need to get at least 12% of the stats in Bill Hook before this item would be worth using for farming tiles or in war. And also the best soldier to use these items would be the archers, especially the improved crossbowmen for fast farming purposes. So to summarize, these are my S tier best starting items to have early in the game, as this items doesn't really need a hero to farm the tiles, especially the Hell 1 and Hell 2 tiles difficulty. Next on my tier list is the A tier items, which there's only 3 items in my tier A item lists. That's because this items is generally used by heroes to help farm tiles early in the game up to the mid game. This is because when you get exclusive items, you would be using your exclusives to farm tiles much faster than this items. So my first A tier item would be the Cure Blade. Why? Why a tier and not S tier? Because Cure Blade works best with heroes, and although it's really good for digging tiles, but Cure Blade is ideally used to heal tank units to sustain them, and it won't be suitable for tank to use the Cure Blade. Why? Because tanks normally has more HP than the other units. So ideally you just need to optimize its strong points. You need to put your Cure Blade to your spearman, not in your tanks, and especially not in your archers, as range units cut your cure to half. The next item is the Circle Blade. Although I would normally rank this item as S tier because it's a good item for smelting, but since we use it with hero like Chendao, especially Chendao, then it falls down to 1 grade, which is A. My reason for this is, heroes are much better than normal soldiers and they have good skills. That's why this item is degraded by 1 grade in my opinion. This is also because Normal soldiers like tanks or spearmen won't take advantage of this items, simply because they don't have the skills or for it to really improve its potential, so normally this kind of items are best used by heroes. Next is the wine gourd, like the circle blade. I normally rank this item as an S tier item, but again, since you need to smelt this item, which takes some time. Like normally, you unlock smelting around 3 to 4 days in normal speed. And we're looking for items that is best for early stage of the game, that we could use from day 1 up to day 2. By the way, this item is also good in war for tanking towers, since you can't use Cure Blade to cure your tank if there's no enemy soldier to hit. Also, the higher your unit's HP, the better this item works. Plus, this item works best in soldiers like, in my humble opinion, is the Axe Cavalry, which in level 5 you have 476 HP by default, and its exclusive item. Doesn't have Wine Gourd in it. That's also why the Wine Gourd is good smelting item for Axe Cav's Mountain Splitter Axes, exclusive item. And I already tested it myself. I smelt the gourd with the Axe Cavalry's exclusive item, the Mountain Splitter Axe, and it works great. But don't get me wrong, your unit, the Axe Cav, won't be invisible with Wine Gourd smelted in it. It just improves its tank capability. And they're mainly used for opening moves, like digging tiles or attacking enemy towers. So that's it for this item. Let's move to the Tier B items. So we have 2 items in Tier B, namely the Crit Blade and the Golden Axe. They're Tier B in my opinion. That's because Crit Blade is not good to use in Hell 2 early in the game. You may use it later and equip it to your soldiers. Why? It may break your one tile strategy because of critical hits. It's only good to use later when you have hero with exclusive item for fast farming Hell 2. That's mainly the reason why this item falls to Tier B, and there's plenty of items that falls into Tier B category in my opinion. Because you can't use it early in the game effectively, most of the items that I didn't include in this tier lists are mainly useful for smelting and not very useful when using it early in the game, especially if you want to farm Hell 2. So next is the Golden Axe item. So why is this Tier B? Well, you can use it to counter the hedgehogs or skunks, and you can get it in level 3 Institute. Also, this item is very good for smelting later in the game. Why? Because most of the time you will need this axe for war for digging purposes. But why is it in Tier B? Well, I would prefer those S tier items if I can get them because they're much better and stronger in my opinion. Plus, I would prefer the Golden Axe if those S tier item won't appear in my Institute than any other items. Although the Leech Blade is also good, but its uses are limited compared to the Golden Axe. So this are my tier list priority items to get in my Institute. And lastly, in my tier list item is the Mirror Armor. But why is it in Tier C? Because Mirror Armor is a very rare item, and if it will appear in your Institute, then consider yourself very lucky as it rarely appears in the Institute. Plus, it requires level 15 Smithy. So although it's a great item for both farming tiles and war, and is very good for Lubu, but you can't use it early in the game, and like I said, it's a pretty rare item and it takes 4 to 5 days in normal speed. Unless you rash your Institute by spending coins, but still, you need more luck or more coins to get the mirror item. But I guess if there's a negative S tier, then this item would fall there, then in Tier C. So that's it for my quick info on my early tier list items. Thank you for watching. I hope this helps.